Hello, my name's Artemis, and I don't give a fuck at all. Like, not even one solitary little fuck. And that makes a lot of sense because I am asexual. And, you know, they don't obviously link as a lot of asexuals who do give a fuck, but that's what I thought we'd discuss today. Although it does impact 1% of our population, which doesn't actually sound that much, but it's more than you'd think. And hell, I thought I could just dispel a few of the bullshit rumours that we have to put up with and educate you all a bit more on our struggle in this hypersexualized fucking world. So, you may be wondering, what makes someone asexual? Or maybe even, am I asexual? Well, it's actually pretty easy to answer. Do you experience sexual attraction? If the answer is no, then you are most likely asexual. But it's not exactly a yes or no proposition. In fact, there are quite a few specific orientations underneath the umbrella of asexuality. Such as demisexual, where you only experience sexual attraction after a significant bond has been formed. Grey asexual, experiencing sexual attraction only very rarely or in very specific circumstances. Apophi, or apophy, repulsed by both sex and romance. That's only a couple of them. There's a whole myriad of terms that we could have gone into, but I really don't have the energy to go through all of them because it gets pretty damn specific. The important thing is that it's actually a very simple thing that defines it, and while it can be coupled with certain personality traits and other orientations, it does seem to bring with it a few perceptions that people push onto it. Seems like when you introduce somebody to your asexuality, they get all sorts of ideas and notions about exactly who you must be as a person and how you have to feel about certain things. And while some of these can be downright hilarious, they're a massive pain in the ass. So I think it's time we put the record straight. Because after all, asexuals can have sex, enjoy sex, hate sex, be repulsed by sex, want kids, have kids, not want kids, hate kids, have kinks, have fetishes, have relationships, enjoy romance, desire intimacy, and much, much more. In fact, an asexual can do literally anything that anybody else can apart from experience sexual attraction. It really is that simple. And yes, I know a lot of that sounds a little bit contradictory, but why don't we put it all into an analogy, since I fucking love doing those. Imagine someone has a delicious cake, and they're gonna have a slice, and they offer you a slice. And it's not that you absolutely hate cake, and you never really want to eat cake, it's just you're not hungry, you're not fussed by cake, you could take it or leave it, don't really have any desire for the cake. But they're gonna have a slice, so you figure, okay, I guess I'll have a slice of cake as well. That way I fit in a bit more, I'm not leaving them on their own, that's cool, I can have cake, I guess, I'll eat. So you have a bit of the cake and you find it's actually quite delicious. You really enjoyed it. I mean, it doesn't make you want to eat the entire cake and you don't think, oh my god, I want to eat cake all the fucking time. But overall you think, yeah, that was alright. That was good. That was probably a good experience. I don't mind that. Do we understand the analogy? The cake is sex. Like, the sex would be the cake in this situation, okay? So it's not about eating cake, it's about fucking. Right? So, instead of eating cake, they were fucking. Do you get this? Is this getting through to you at all? It's not about cake, it's fuck. This obviously sets up for a few problems and issues that can be a real pain in the ass to deal with, but I thought would make good content for this section of the video. So this is likely sounding very different from the average orientation, right? I mean, when you look at the world through an objective lens, the whole purpose of life is to fuck, have kids, reproduce, and, you know, ensure the survival of your species, and we kind of go against all of that, really. Hell, everyone else loves to fuck in one way or another, and we just kind of go against that entirely. The world is full of sexual people. Literally, and when you are so inclined, it can be very hard to, you know, imagine what it's like to be the polar opposite of that. And hell, I can relate to that. I can't even picture what it'd be like to want to stick my dick into something. Ugh. But this often leads to doubt and disbelief that we actually exist and that we're anything more than just pussy snowflakes wanting to be different. Hence why we're bombarded with the shit of, it's just a phase, or you haven't met the right person, as if anybody else is going to have a better idea of who we are than us. So here's something really fucked up in the wide world of asexuality. There are some people who are totally devoid of all sexual thoughts, feelings and urges, but not everyone. There are people who would quite happily completely shut down every sexual thing in their head and never think about it again, but the problem is the hardware still works and hormones are still hormones, biology is still biology, and you can't really change that. So you get these poor fuckers with sexual urges but no real outlet for it. And yes, that is incredibly fucked up and difficult to deal with, I'd imagine. The best analogy I have for this one I found online somewhere, but I can't find it now. Imagine being really hungry but not wanting to eat. So you open the refrigerator and literally nothing looks good to you, but you eat something anyway just so you don't feel hungry. Wait a second, why do all these analogies about sex involve food? I don't want to make that connection. The whole damn world is fueled and centralised around sex, and when you aren't in any way fussed about that, it really does make you feel like an outsider. Movies and media is all slightly geared towards man's carnal instinct, and when you're repulsed by that, it can be a hell of a minefield to try and wade through. It's even harder for people with kinks or interests that are widely considered to be sexual, and yet they find no sexual enjoyment or arousal in it. I mean, how do you explain being heavily into BDSM, but actually in no way wanting anything sexual to do with it? And it's hard enough thinking that paws are cute and having people assume it goes any further than that. I relate. The struggle is real. Lately we've had a decent slice of representation in the media. They seem to acknowledge that we exist, and the most notable would be BoJack Horseman making Todd asexual and having that become a whole story arc. And it did an okay job, but it didn't exactly hit the nail on the head, but fuck it raised awareness, we're happy with that. But that's the problem, no one ever seems to hit the nail on the head when it comes to asexuality, and no one seems to do a good representation of what it's like to be ace. In fact, nearly all of these ace characters are portrayed as kooky fucking weirdos who can't seem to make relationships work. Oh, wait, no, maybe they are representing us pretty well. Shit. So here's the really hard part, or at least the part I seem to have the most trouble with, anyway. There seems to be a deeply ingrained assumption that a relationship cannot really function without sex, and that when you take away that primal act from a relationship, it becomes just a friendship, and I honestly have a bit of trouble trying to agree in one direction or the other with this one. On the one paw, there is the assumption that not wanting sex means you don't want romance or intimacy or a relationship, and sure enough, every time I've revealed my ace-tude to people, they've assumed that I've wanted to be alone, which is the complete fucking opposite of what I want. And then you have to try and explain it all, and you always tend to get the question of, yeah, well, how can you be in a relationship without sex? And I honestly never know how to answer that shit. But on the other paw, how can it work? I mean, a relationship is supposed to be built on trust and connection, and how you're a match for people, you know, you're a match for them, they're a match for you, you can share your life together. And if, you know, I'm asexual and I go with someone who isn't asexual, then, I mean, surely one of us is going to have to compromise on that. We're not exactly matching, and if I can't compromise on that, then I'm not exactly holding up my end of the bargain, am I? So it kind of makes me feel like asexuals are better off with asexuals, but then again, I know a couple where one is asexual and one is not, and it's one of the best, most healthiest relationships I've ever seen, so I don't have a fucking clue. This one's beyond me. So there you have it, there's my little discussion about asexuality. I hope it gets across a decent message to people. Overall, you can't really just say, like, asexuality is just one singular thing. Everybody deals with it differently. You have the sex repulsed, the not sex repulsed. You have loads of shit. I think we fucking covered that. So don't just go thinking like, oh, that guy's asexual must be the same as that woman who's asexual. Nope, no. Same way you can't say that guy who's straight, it's the same as that guy who's straight. That gay guy is the same as that gay guy. That trans is the same as... You can't do that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So, yes, there we go. I've moaned a little bit about how shitty it is to have to go through this fucking sexualized world as I am. Now it's part of your problem as well. And hey, got a video out this week as well. Ka-ching. Patreon link's there because I'm going to plug the fuck out of that for the foreseeable future. Just go over there, throw some money in my face. Right in my face. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's like a brick of cash and you pelt it at me. It's still cash. Ugh. Oh, fuck it, I'm done. I did the advert. You should be happy.